Hey, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda and I'm a neurodivergent woman. I have autism, ADHD, aphantasia, and a rare memory disorder called SDAM. In this video, I'm mostly going to be talking about the memory disorder, severely deficient autobiographical memory, but with that often is it's very closely tied in sometimes with aphantasia, which is the inability to visualize in your mind's eye. I also have multisensory aphantasia, so I have none of the senses in my mind. And there's a little bit of ADHD because when you're talking about memory, short-term memory can be affected by ADHD, but that is completely separate from the traits, I guess, of SDAM. Okay, so let's go into my story. So yesterday morning, as I was waking up, I kind of had this like sort of foggy memory. And whenever I use the word memory, it's kind of how a blind person will use the word see. A blind person will say, I watched that TV show, when in fact, they just really listened to it. It's just the vocabulary we use. I don't actually have memories, but that's the word that I can use to kind of like talk about a past life event. So as I was waking up, and the only time I ever can visualize is in dreams, because when you're dreaming, it uses a different part of the brain for visualizing those dreams than it does in waking. And it doesn't happen very often for me individually. Some people with aphantasia dream more often or visualize more often in their dreams or remember them. I don't, but on occasion, that time between awake and sleep, I can see an image very clearly for a split second, but as soon as I wake up, it disappears. I go into a lot more detail in this video right here. So yesterday morning, I didn't actually have an image, but I kind of had this memory of when I was a kid, we used to go visit a family friend's house. It was actually a mansion. And we would stay there for the weekend. And I grew up, fairly not affluent. Okay. We didn't have a lot of money. But so going to this mansion was just thrilling, right? And as I was waking up, I was desperately trying to recall the summers and memories spent at this place. So the way that my memory works is that I cannot relive experiences. I cannot go back into my past and think about an experience and just like remember all the emotions, the smells, the sights, the feelings, basically any of the details of that experience. I just have facts. I know as a kid, I went to this place in Orange, Texas, and we stayed there. And I can sometimes remember more facts, like there was a swimming pool. And I know that I enjoyed exploring the old rooms of this mansion. It was kind of a time capsule place because the family friend, her mom was there and she suffered from Alzheimer's. So this is also kind of interesting because I was fairly familiar with what Alzheimer's was as a kid because of this family friend. And so they time capsuled her house to help keep her comfortable. And so as a kid, it was just amazing because everything was captured from like the 1970s, I think. And so all the furniture, there was Reader Digest lined up on the shelf from the 70s. And as a kid, this was just like walking through a museum. Maybe it was the 60s. See, I don't remember. And so when I'm telling you these experiences, I wish I could fill in more of the experiential details. It's really just facts. And when I get excited, I'm not remembering the excitement that I had as a kid. I am feeling a current emotion of like, I bet that was really cool. And I probably was excited as a kid, or I probably was, just different emotions that may have gone along with that experience that seem logical. It's actually very detached, and I can't remember the experience of it. Okay, so back on track. So yesterday morning, I was, well, and the reason why I kind of let myself kind of go down that is because sometimes when I start talking about something, more facts will pop up in my head, but not always. So I was trying to remember more about this mansion and the details. Like I was struggling. I was like, oh, because I know it was a happy time in my childhood. Again, a fact I know. And then I had this like feeling, and I use the word feeling a lot because it's like I don't remember for sure, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like this is the thing. And I was like, I feel like when I was in college, I invited one of my roommates to go visit this mansion for the weekend. Now, at this point, the the owner that had Alzheimer's had passed away, but her son was now living in restoring the mansion, and they were also family friends, and the property had a guest house, and so I feel like I took my roommate and we stayed for a weekend at the guest house on this property. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it actually happened. I don't have any details to recall like I did from the childhood, because from the childhood memories, we went many, many times. And whenever there's a repetition in my life, I'm going to have more facts about it. I won't have facts about the individual events, but I'll have more facts about that place or that experience all lumped together. So this would have been a one-off weekend visit. So I don't have, like, I literally don't even know if it happened or if it was something that maybe I wanted to happen or what. It logically, it could have happened. So, I'm like leaning towards the thing that it did. Now, here is the other part of that. So oftentimes when I am trying, like something like this pops up in my head and I just have a curiosity about it, it really affects nothing in the present. Like whether I remember this or not makes no difference in my current life right now. So it's just like, oh, I wonder. But oftentimes when I have a question like this, I will call my sister. My sister has a much more robust memory. She can replay. She has hyperphantasia, so she can replay movies in her head of memories. And so she will give me a lot more details and fill in things that happen. But of course, it's all from her perspective, and she's 4 years younger than me. So, it's not, again, still my memories, but it can give me more details. And sometimes it will jog more facts about my life. But again, I'm not going to actually, no matter how many somebody tells me what happened, it's not going to make me remember it in a typical memory sort of situation. But at this point, my sister's still in high school probably, and because I was in college, and she wasn't there. Like the only person I would be able to verify this is, the family friend who, he had so many guests come and stay over the time. Like, who knows if he would remember? I mean, he was an older family friend, not somebody I was really close with. He was probably, if we did go, was just letting us stay because he knew we had childhood memories to his family home. And then, of course, the college friend that I stayed with. But here's the thing. Over time, I'm 42. College was many years ago. Those college friends have drifted away and apart. And that's actually, again, a lot of that is tied to having autism. Yes, it is common for a lot of people to lose contact with friends over time, but autistic people in general have a very, very difficult time maintaining friendships over the course of a lifetime. That is a very, very common thing. And so, coupled with not being able to remember things about people's lives, because I don't remember things about my life. When you tell me a fact about your life, most of the time I'm going to forget it unless you remind me over and over. So that's made friendships in itself very difficult. So over the years, I have pretty much lost contact with all of my college friends. So yesterday morning, and it's kind of the whole point of this video, it was like a realization that I've like lost the key to a library of memories since I don't really have contact with anybody in my life from that time period. And it just made me realize, like, I store my memories in other people's brains, at least from my childhood. Now, with video and stuff like that, it's a little bit different. I don't take as many home videos as I really should. And part of that comes into I pretty much often just live in the present. I'm just I don't reflect back on the past because it's kind of futile for me. Um, but then when I do think of something like that, there is a big sadness that comes across me because I sometimes you do want to go back and remember things that were happy times in your life, and I don't have that ability to do that. And most of the time it's fine. It's okay. Even now, it's like whether or not I went and saw that friend that stayed at that mansion with that friend for that weekend, especially since I'm not really in contact with that friend much anymore. I mean, I know where she lives and stuff. It's not like I don't have any contact with her. It's just like we're not current, friends or acquaintances or anything like that. Would she even remember? You know what I mean? Like my memories are stored in other people's brains, but some things they're not going to remember either. It is normal for people to forget things. Like that is a normal human thing. Like people forget things. And growing up, I always knew my memory was weird and like different. Like people would say, "Oh, I forget things too." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I don't think it's exactly the same as my memory though." And then having this family friend with Alzheimer's, I used to secretly think that I had some like childhood form of Alzheimer's. I remember being very, very worried about that. But then at 38 is when I learned about SDAM, and I was like, oh, there's a word for my brain. And it did give me some comfort to know that it's very, very rare, but there are other people out there who, experience life the same way as I do. And again, talking about aphantasia, when like yesterday morning when I was thinking about this mansion, I was so desperately trying to visualize. Because remember, I told you it was like a time capsule, a museum. And I just want to be able to remember what the place looked like. Because as a kid, I just know it was really a very cool and special place. It was very awesome that I was able to have that experience. And so another part about my memory is that no, I don't remember things. I can't relive them, but it doesn't stop me from not wanting to do things in life because everything that we do in our lives builds upon itself to become the person that we are today. So, having that experience at that mansion for the weekends that we would spend there as a child, even though I can't remember it, they somehow shaped the person that I am today. And so, experiences don't exist in a bubble. They build onto each other to have you become who you are in the present moment. And so I got a question on one of my TikToks. So make sure you follow me on TikTok. I post there sometimes a couple times a day. I'm like a couple videos, a couple months ago, I'm like, I hate TikTok. Now I'm like, oh my God, why have not gotten on TikTok sooner? I love it. But so I am mind blind on TikTok also. Anyway, somebody asked me a question that can I sometimes see my SDAM as a gift? And honestly, it's a double-edged sword. I do see it as a gift. I do get to live in the present. I can't dwell on the past. When I do, it's pretty useless and will almost make me sad. So I do spend most of my time just focused on the here and now, which is, what a lot of people are trying to achieve in life. And I have access to that more readily. So, in a way, that is a gift. I can't remember the bad experiences of my life, so that's a gift. So I always do try to look at positive in my life. I'm always looking for the joy and the happy times. Life isn't all about being happy. I'm not talking about toxic positivity, but when given a choice, I do try to look for the good. I'm just a natural optimist, and so um, that's just my kind of natural state. That doesn't mean that I don't get sad, and that when I am sad, sometimes it is appropriate and feels good to just let yourself be sad. Like, it really sucks that, I mean, my entire college is supposed to be one of the best times of your life. And I actually met my husband in college. So, but he's also got a pretty bad memory. Um, different than my memory. He doesn't have SDAM, but he has other kinds of memory issues going on. I don't have memories, of my college experience, and then not having people currently in my life that I can tap into their brains to help me remember stuff. It's like those days are gone for me. They're gone. And I don't want to think about that right now. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to end this one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit subscribe to find out more about the lived experience of a neurodivergent person. And until the next one, bye, guys.